Welcome in the sewing room. So glad y'all are here and joined me in my sewing room today. I'm standing up. Can you tell? Standing up. Because I have a new toy. Got a sewing machine. Not opened it, not unboxed it, not done anything to it. This company asked me to review a machine. I'll put that review at the end of this video. I was not happy at all. It was complicated. The instructions were not clear. It was not a very beginner-friendly machine, and it was around the $120 mark, which needs to be a very beginner-friendly machine, because if you're an advanced sewist, you're going to probably spend more than that for a machine. Okay, you're going to be looking to upgrade from the lower models. Okay, and I found that one very difficult. So with that said, they asked me if I would review another machine. And this one, they say, is a beginner machine. This one has a top load bobbin, which is much easier for beginners. The other had a front load bobbin, which is not a big deal if that's what you're accustomed to. But it's also kind of a, kind of outdated in a lot of ways. The technology is kind of outdated. So especially for beginner, they need the simple, easy, so the top load bobbin is much better. This one has a top load bobbin, and you can see it's all packed right like this. So I'm just going to turn this over. I'm probably going to turn it out on its head. And see what we've got in the box. Instruction manual. Flimsy plastic cover. That make you a sewing machine cover for your sewing machine. Keep the dust off of it. Here's the instruction manual. Don't know if it's a little bit more user-friendly than the other one. There's warranty, after-sale warranty card. Congratulations, it's owner of a new sewing machine. Goes through the parts and pieces, on-off switch, the feet that come with it, winding the bobbin, two-step presser foot lifter. Don't really know what that means. We'll find out. Adjusting pressure foot pressure, inserting the bobbin, threading the upper thread, automatic needle threader. Okay, that's a good point. Raising the bobbin thread, the needle position, the thread tension, choosing your pattern, choosing the stretch stitch patterns, which they are very confusing on their patterns. I'm just telling you. Here is our presser foot. Just a kind of a generic presser foot. Here's our nice black machine. Let's see if we can get it out. All right. So it's just got two pieces of styrofoam on it. All right, let's come down here. Let's see what we got going on. All righty. I'm going to put y'all in the floor right here beside me. So here's our machine right here. Here we go. Pull that off. Raise this up. I guess this is showing you that they stitched with it. This is your bobbin thread. So it already has a bobbin threaded in it. It's got some oil that has leaked out of somewhere right there, I guess in shipping. I'm going to take me a little piece of cloth right there and dry that up. I don't know where that oil could have leaked from, but we got it dried up. It's got a kind of a small throat space, but that's okay for the type machine it is. Here are your stitches on the front. Right here, it shows you your stitches, A through K, and then S1. I guess if you widen your stitch out or change something about it, there's oil right there. You all, where all this oil is coming from, I do not know. That, hopefully we got it all dried up. All right, around here on this side, just turn this right here. It's your on-off switch, your power, and your presser foot. Here's your buttonhole stitch length of your stitches. You change that right there, I'm assuming. Here is your stitch width right here, 1 to 4. And here are your stitches, your buttonhole, and all of your stitches. This is an FYE 392. Can y'all see that? Right there, FYE 392. I do not know how to pronounce that. FYIYUE. I don't know. That's what it is. This is your speed control. Slow it down as a turtle. Speed it up fast as a bunny rabbit. I like that knob there. Your needle up and down. And your, I'm really not sure what that is. Looks like stop and go, maybe. Here's your reverse lever. Feels good and sturdy. This looks very much like my little Bernina's. Let's see how it compares. As far as your tension here goes, should be set between 3 and 5. We'll set that onto a 4. The needle positions in the center. There's it's to the right and to the left. We'll leave it on the center. Our stitch width from 0 all the way to a 6. I'll leave it on a 0. All right, and this is your stitch length right here. And I'm going to set that at about a 2 because it goes from 0 to 4. 2 is about halfway. All right, now then, I'm going to get us some thread, and I'm going to put our foot pedal on here and plug it in, and let's see how it does. Okay, let's pull y'all up just a little bit. You can see the whole machine, kind of get a good angle there. Now then, hopefully y'all can see this. I do not know where my spool pin is, so I opened up this. You have to take this off and then open it. You cannot just open it. Maybe you can. I had a hard time doing that the first time. But there's where you keep all of your little accessories. This is what we have in here. We have 3 size 14 needles, 3 empty clear plastic bobbins, 1 full white bobbin, 1 full gray bobbin, 1 full black bobbin, a makeshift screwdriver, a spool pin. Yay! I don't know how that goes in there. Right like that. Snaps into place. A clear foot so you can kind of see where you're going. And a zipper foot. These are all universal feet. And a button foot. And like I've told y'all before, I do not see the point in a, here's your second spool pin, so you can use 2 threads. I don't see the point in sewing buttons on with a machine, but if that's your forte, there's your button foot. So I'm going to drop all these things right back down into there. Right in there where they go. Here is your your zipper foot. Here is your buttonhole foot, buttonhole attachment. And here is you a seam ripper, which we all need if we're going to sew, and a small cleaning brush to clean around in there. And here is directions on how to thread your machine. That was also down in there. All right, so let's see if we can thread our machine. Let's see. Got to pull it over here so I can kind of get to it. First, it goes behind, just like that. 2, and you follow the arrows. 3, 4, 5 around here. Back down is 6. And then I'm assuming that this goes right behind there is 7. And through here will be 8. Let me pull the thread through. And that worked beautifully. The other one, I could not get the thread through the machine. It just, right here and right here was so tight that I literally could not get the machine threaded. It was just a nightmare. So let's get our foot pedal and so forth on here, and we'll start making some stitches with this little baby, and we'll try her out. We'll see how she does. All right, now there's our foot pedal. All entangled. And let's get her plugged in here. All right, let's see what happens. We should have a light come on, I would think. There's a light. Did y'all see that light come on? Now then, I'm going to have to bring it over this way just a little bit so that I can see what we're on. We're on a straight stitch, on a 2, no width, needle positions in the center, and our tension is on a 4. All right, and I've got this piece of white fabric right here that we are going to use to sew on. Well, I just knocked y'all over somehow. Hold on just a minute. Okay, y'all ready? Let's go. Let's see what happens. It's a little loud, but if we have pretty stitches, then we're okay. Okay, I'll stop with your needle up, pull it out, and look at it. And it made a pretty stitch. Sure did. Let me grab a little pair of snips here. Yeah. Much better than the other one. The other one made a clunking sound. I don't know if it was just a machine that was not manufactured as well. Possibly it was damaged in shipping or manufacturing or something. This one seems to be better. So let's go to our zigzag stitch. We'll put it on about a 5 width, and let's see what happens. There's no way to change the stitch length. Well, I guess there is right here. We'll leave it on about a 2. And let's take it down to about a 1. And let's take it on down even further if we want to satin stitch with it. And widen it out as wide as it'll go. Stop with your needle in the up position. That does a fairly nice zigzag. Just your zigzag and then your satin right here. All right, let's try stitch number 3, which is C, which is the looks like a triple. Let's see, where was I? There's the zigzag. There is our triple zigzag stitch right here. We're going to leave it set about the same. And that's just making 2 stitches on every zig or zag. It's a 2 stitch instead of a 1 stitch. Start with the needle in the up position, pull it out and take a look. As you can see, it made 2 to 3 stitches for every zigzag in there. Can y'all see that good? That goes up very high. Let's see what happens if we lower that presser foot down a little bit more. Gives it a little more stability there. Our next stitch is a blind hem stitch. This one does not have a blanket stitch. This is kind of like a blanket stitch, but it's more of a blind hem stitch. I'm going to loosen that tension just a hair bit. Seems like it's pulling the bobbin thread up quite easily. This is to put your needle down or to raise it up. This will sew just like this without the presser foot, and it'll stop. So you don't have to have your presser foot. So that could be kind of helpful. This is what this one is, and you can see it pulled the bobbin thread through. And I did loosen that tension just a little bit, but it didn't necessarily seem to help much. All right, let's try the next stitch, which is a little different, but it's still sort of a hem stitch. It's making zigzags in between rather than straight stitches. It's making small zigzags. I don't know the names of all of these stitches. It's a pretty little stitch though. Let's see if I can cut all these threads. Get them out of our way. All right, there's that little stitch. Let's go to the next one. The next stitch is what I call a swirl stitch, sort of. I don't know what you call it. We're just going to stitch it, and y'all tell me what it is. We'll just see how fast it'll go. Oh, she really will pick up there and go, won't she? She'll just fly, zoomy, zoom, zoom. That made a pretty stitch. It's like a little decorative stitch. Let's see what we got here. Let's just do it this way. I like the button there that you can start and stop. My Juki also has that, but I just always used my foot and to control my speed. That's another pretty little decorative stitch there. And let's see what the next one is. A real pretty decorative stitch. Let's just use our this is like a little scalloped stitch. There it is, that pretty little scallop stitch. All right, let's see what the next one is. We've got 3 more, and then you have this setting here. It says S1. You turn it to that stitch length, and it makes your elasticized stitches, if that makes sense. So it gives you a whole nother set of stitches. It'll go all the way down to just barely stitching. See, I'm not doing anything right now. It's just doing it all on its own. And you can speed it up. All right, we've got a couple more stitches to go, but all in all, I think this is a good little beginner machine, and I think its price point is around the $200 mark, which is a good price. She's fairly weighty, which is good. You want a heavier machine. And this one I think could be a blanket stitch. Yes, this one is a blanket stitch. That's the closest to a blanket stitch you're going to get on this machine anyway. You'd have to turn in your stitch length down. Let's try that and see if it pulls these together. No, it does not. It just makes them all be closer together or further apart. So this machine really does not have a blanket stitch on it. But y'all know I love to use my blanket stitch. But you can always use a zigzag. And this one does have several pretty zigzag stitches that you can use in place of a blanket stitch. You could use either one of these in place of a blanket stitch if you want that look. This one is very pretty to use as an overcast stitching when you're appliquing, as well as these 3 here would be very pretty. So you have several options here if you want to do appliques. So let's see if we've got the buttonhole stitch left. So let's turn this to the SI and see how it does with these stitches again. That just made it at a diagonal, that same stitch that we just did. It just brought it at an angle, which makes it a blanket stitch. When you turn that to that point, it makes it a blanket stitch. So when you turn this right here to where it says SI, as well as you're matching this right down here, it says SI. This is the stitch that we just did, okay? And these are the same stitches on your dial, A through K, but you're setting this to the SI as opposed to a stitch width, okay? So let's try them again on those and let's see what we get. Okay, so we're just going to go backwards. Okay, this stitch is the same as this stitch right here. See how this would be very pretty to applique with as well. This one makes what I call little bird feet. That's what it looks like, it's little baby bird feet, I think, or a vine. There's another one that would be very pretty to use for your applique. You run this right down the edge of your fabric and it catches both sides. I'm liking these particular stitches a little bit better than the originals, but we shall see. This one, I'm not real sure what it. I'm not a fan of that one at all. That was this one right here. This one is much better this way than this way, okay? These two are the same stitch, the original. These two on the bottom, the original, and then the newer version. I'm not a fan of this one at all. I am of that one. So now we're going to do this one. I think we're unthreaded. It does have a thread cutter right here, I think. All right, let's pull this up and let's rethread it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's try again. That's the one I had just done, I do believe it is. All right, so I'm just going to turn this and we're going to come right back through here like this. I'm going to go to the next stitch. Now that one's pretty. It's like little cross stitches. See that one? Looks like little cross stitches. Right here. Little crosses. That's the same as this stitch right here. Now we're going to the sister stitch to this one right here. All of our threads pulled to the back. All right, let's see. This one I'm not a fan of at all. That is this right here, and to me that just looks like it's just a bunch of messy ends. So that would be this one right here, not a fan. The next one, let's see what it is. It's just the reverse of a blanket stitch. Okay, with just a little bit of a zigzag in it. It's kind of a pretty little stitch there. I kind of like that one. And one more. And I've unthreaded the machine again. All right, just a minute. All right, now then our next stitch, let's see what it does. Oh yes, this is a honeycomb stitch, or that's what I call it. I'm not sure what you're supposed to call it, but I call it a honeycomb stitch. And I think it's so pretty. Let me get it out of here so y'all can see the close-up of it. But there it is. I think that's such a pretty stitch. Just looks like a honeycomb. And we've got two more. Two more. All right, this is just a triple zigzag. Instead of making 2 stitches, it makes triple zigzags. Just a really thick zigzag stitch right there. All right, let's see, we got one more. This was just our regular straight stitch into a stretch stitch, which this is what I call an elastic stitch. It triple stitches. And that just made a triple straight stitch. Right there. You really can't tell the difference, but it stitched it 3 times. It went front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back. That's the way it stitches. Okay, so we have gone through all the stitches except for the buttonhole stitch. We're going to do that here in just a minute. I'm going to reach over here and get us a button. Okay, got us a button, just a white button. And you put your button in here just like that. Push that back. There's your button. This will snap on. You reach right back here and you unsnap that and it falls down. Okay? This one you put right on there just like that. And it snaps on. Easy peasy. And you have a little buttonhole foot right here that goes up or down. And you want it pulled down right back there. This little piece right here, you want it pulled down, okay? Now then, let's see if we can make us a buttonhole. This should be all that we have to do. Let's turn that to here, turn that right in there, turn our width, it's just on medium. We're going to leave it right there. We're going to push this button and it's going to make its own buttonhole. It's supposed to, okay? I'll turn you down so you can kind of watch it. Nope, it's not working. It is not working. It just didn't move at all. Okay. What did we do wrong? Does anybody know what we did wrong? I do not know. Do not have any idea what we did wrong. The tension is on a 4. Needle position is centered. The stitch width is on, we'll put it on a 4. It's on a buttonhole stitch. Here we've got it set to anywhere between this 1 and the 0 is buttonholes. We've got this pulled down, so it should make a buttonhole. But it is not. So I'm going to read the manual here and see what we're doing wrong, because we have to be doing something wrong. So this is where you come in and you read your manual and you decide if, oh, and you can drop your feed dogs on this too as well, it says. Buttonholes. This should be in the middle. It is. The needle position's the middle. A, B, and C. I've got the stitch length set to right there. Set the stitch width to a 6. That's where we had it. Which, however, may need to be adjusted according to the project. First, sew a test first to determine. Lower the presser foot, aligning the marks. Insert the button, lower the button hole lever, and gently push it back. Maybe that's what we did not do. Okay, let's try this again. I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. Now then. It's still not moving. It's still just stitching in one place. Which is a problem because it's like the feed dogs and they're up, but it's like it's not. Push that back. I did that. Let's go way over here. So there's nothing else involved. Lower that, push that back. Everything should work. See, it will not make a buttonhole. Brand new, out of the box. It will not make a buttonhole. And I'm not doing anything wrong. Nothing at all. It just will not move. It will not move. I'm going to try one more time before I say, okay, I've raised the, so it should be able to move. You can't move it. It won't move, you all. So that's a no for this recommendation, because out of the box, everything should work perfectly. Out of the box, brand new, should be no problems. If you buy a used machine and it has a glitch here or there, well, I can understand that because it's used. But brand new, out of the box, everything should work. Everything should work. So, there's another fail. At least in my opinion, if you never want to make a buttonhole, then it might be an okay little machine. The other one I reviewed, I will put at link to the, I will put take that video on the end of this one. I did that one several months ago, and that one was horrible. I don't recommend this brand of machine. This is two they have sent me, and neither one has been what I would call of any quality. I bought a Little Brother machine a year ago for $229. It's a little workhorse. It is a very good little machine. It's lightweight, weighs about 3 pounds. It's all electronic, has tons of stitches on it. I usually like a real weighty machine, but if you're going to a quilt retreat or something like that, a lighter weight machine is easier to handle. Keep your heavier ones that take the bulk of your sewing at home. Get you a lightweight one to travel with. This machine, I am just not, I was doing very well with it until I tried to make a buttonhole. And I cannot, I do not know what else to do. I read the instructions. Everything was fine. And I've read the instructions and I'm doing everything exactly as the instructions say to do it. But it's not, it just is not, it's not making a buttonhole. And I do not know why. Something in there is not working properly. So this FYIYUE brand of machine, I do not recommend. I've got two of them now that I don't know what to do with, because I don't want to pass along something to someone else that doesn't work properly. So I'm just going to leave y'all there with that. They ask for an honest review. I give you honesty. Above all else, I'm honest. And this one is better than the other one. I will give you that. But it still doesn't pass muster, as they say, for if I were buying a machine to give to my daughter, granddaughter, niece, for myself as a new sewer, would I buy this brand? I would absolutely stay away from it at all cost. If that meant buy a used Brother, Bernina, Janome, one of those as opposed to a new one of these, I would buy one of those used, because I feel like if you take that to a reputable sewing machine technician, they will have those machines running and oiled and in good condition, everything working on them without too much trouble. This one, straight out of the box, you all saw me unbox the entire thing. It was still wrapped in its plastic. It will not make a buttonhole. And we don't make a ton of buttonholes in quilting, but occasionally you need to make a buttonhole. I don't make a ton of buttonholes anymore, but occasionally I need to make a buttonhole. And I want a buttonhole foot and a buttonhole mechanism on my machine that works. Especially if I bought it new out of the box and it's supposed to make a buttonhole, I would want a buttonhole. I'd want it to work. If I never used it, I would expect it to work. So that's my review of this company, FYIYUE, FYIYUE. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm not sure what. It's a Chinese company, I'm sure. I do not know. It says contact us in China. Yes. And I guess it's a Chinese machine. And in China, maybe they don't use buttonholes. I don't know. All in all, except for the buttonhole not working, it's a fairly good little machine. You all saw me stitch every stitch that it makes except a buttonhole, and it would not stitch the buttonhole. This is every stitch that it would make. And it did fairly well on these stitches. It's a little louder than some machines, but then that's just, it didn't make any thuds or clanking or rubbing noises or what have you. I mean, I really wanted to give them a good review. I really did. I thought, okay, this is a good little machine. I'll be able to recommend this. Till I got to the buttonhole. Just can't do it because it needs to all work 100% straight out of the box. So stay away from them is my advice. It's your money, do what you want with it. But my advice is I would not buy anything from this company because I've had 2 of their products and neither one have worked well, brand new out of a box. So thanks for hanging out with me to review this machine. I hope it helps you or some make a decision on machines if you're looking to buy one of these, or if you've just looking to buy a beginner machine. I hope it helps you make the right decision for you. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Well, hey everybody, welcome in the sewing room. I decided we'd do something with our Tilda fabrics today. And I've got out my Tilda book right here. Love this book. It's got so many cute things in it. We're eventually going to get to all of them, but it may be a while. Sewing by Heart. And it's got some of the cutest things in it. So, I mean, just really some of the absolute cutest things. And this is one I've been wanting to do for a while. It's so simple, so easy. It's a beehive pin cushion. Little pin cushion right there. Can y'all see that? Sitting on top of her head. And then right there they are. Aren't they cute? Trying to do this so y'all can see it. Now then, you can see. I want to do this little pin cushion, and you need 14 fabrics. I've got 13 Tilda fabrics, not 14. And my local quilt shop only carries certain. She's just started carrying it, so she just has like the wallflower collection. She doesn't have the older ones. So I've got a few of one of the older collections. I think this was Sunday Brunch, maybe, that I purchased in Knoxville, along with this one I purchased in Knoxville. The rest of these I've gotten over at Heavenly Stitches in Kingsport. But with all that being said, we're going to make this beehive pincushion real quick, real simple, real easy. I upsized my template by 20%. So I copied this at 120% to add me a 1/4 inch seam allowance in here. You didn't really have to do that if you wanted to just stitch on these lines, and you could do that and peel it off and stitch and peel it off. But I wanted to upsize mine, so I did just that. There they are. Looking for these scissors. So I'm going to cut this out, just not completely, but just kind of sort of into my circle, and discard what I don't need there. So now you can see. And you'll have 7 layers of your pincushion, 7 layers. So you want to start with your bottom layer, and you need 2 fabrics per layer, the way they have done it. So that is what I will do. It's 2 fabrics per layer. So I'm just going to lay this down on here and kind of sort of cut me a square out of this. All right, now then, I've kind of sort of got me a piece there so I can kind of know what I'm doing. There's just something about all of her fabrics that just say countryside, warmth, home, love, something about her designs that I just absolutely adore. So here's one piece, and we'll add this green here. I bet I've already got a piece that's kind of sort of cut big enough. I do. Just need to cut this one in 2. These will also make great Christmas shop things, Christmas craft fair is what I'm trying to say. Christmas craft fair items. You want to lay them right sides together, just like this. And then, to save from having to make 7 copies of this, I intend to cut them out one at a time. And to do that, I'm going to put me just a tad bit of glue on the back here of my pattern piece, right around that outside edge. And I'm going to turn it over on these 2 pieces of fabric here. I'm going to pull that up there to the top edge. And any little scraps, like this, we shall put in our scrap bin. Now we are going to cut this out around this outside circle. Now remember, this has got our 1/4 inch seam allowance already added to it. So I'm cutting this out, and then I will sew it with a 1/4 inch seam. Guess I should bring y'all over here and turn you down here so you can really see good. Okay? I forget that you all are not just sitting right here on top of me all the time. I do kind of sort of forget that from time to time. If you want to use a rotary cutter to cut it out, you can. Use whatever suits you. This will go down there into the scraps. Now then, this is our bottom layer right there. Lay it right there. That's the bottom. Now then, we need 2 more. And we'll just grab these 2 right here. Should be one more. Yeah, there it is. I started to say I'm missing one. But we'll do these two next. And you could use quilted pieces that you have just stitched together. Come in here with just a little bit of glue around that outer edge to hold that in place. Lay this down here so that you've got room around it. Okay. Now then we've got to get our piece. I'm just going to toss that over there. We'll get it in a minute. Got to get this one that goes with it. If you have pre-cut 10-inch squares, that would be perfect for this. I do not have any. I do like my pre-cuts though, but I have not seen any affordable ones lately. So I've not purchased any. I like to get them when they are on sale or somebody's destashing them on Facebook or something like that. All right, now this one we're going to turn just like we did the other. Just like this. And we're going to cut it out. But I'm coming in to the next circle. Okay? Cutting in on the next circle. And I'm going to continue doing this until I have them all cut out. And then I'll be back with you. Welcome in the sewing room. I'm standing up. I'm not sitting down today. Isn't that amazing? This company right here, I don't even know how to pronounce it. FYIYUE. FYIYUE, what, I don't know. Sent me this machine, the FYE 320. They sent me this machine and asked me to do a review on it. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I started this review yesterday. And I was not happy. I just was not a happy camper at all. So I stopped the review. I put the machine back in the box and I sent them an email. And I basically told them it's not going to be a real favorable review. And I really don't think you want me to post a review that's not real favorable. And their response to me was, and the mister thinks I need to include that email, and I might. Basically, I kind of got the impression that they thought I did not know how to use a sewing machine. Now, I've been sewing all my life, and that's over 50 years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but it's been a long time. And I have sewn on so many different sewing machines through my years that I do think I know how to thread a machine. I know how to put a bobbin in. I owned an embroidery business, and I had a big industrial embroidery machine with a front load bobbin. This machine has a front load bobbin I'm not a fan of, but that's neither here nor there. That's okay. They're a little more complicated, but if that's what you've got, it's not a problem. This machine was very difficult to thread the machine. So I taped it back up. I don't know what I was going to do with it, but I put it back in the box. And I told the mister, I said, I don't even feel comfortable giving it away. you know, because it's just not, in my opinion, worth your time and trouble. But here we go. We're going to do this again. Out of the box. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. It's all wrapped in styrofoam. Here's what comes with it. Comes with a CD. They tell me to watch a video on how to sew. That's what they tell me to do. It comes with this dust cover, which is a piece of plastic, very flimsy. But, you know, if your machine works great, you can make you a nice cover. You know, this is not a deal breaker, okay? Comes with a piece of fabric. I don't really know why we need that, because if we're buying a machine, we probably have some fabric. Comes with an instruction manual. And I went through it yesterday and looked at it and got familiar with it. All that. I mean, that's what you do when you get a new piece of equipment, no matter what kind of equipment. If you get a new car, you kind of go through the book, even though you've been driving all your life, because you want to know how it works. Here's your presser foot and your plug-in cable. Are they the same or separate? I think they're separate. They're separate. All right. All right, so let's get this thing out of the box. And to start with, it's fairly heavy. It's not the lightest weight machine I've ever had, but it's by far not the heaviest machine I've ever had. Probably weighs 15 pounds, give or take. I'm just guessing. All right, now I'm going to bring y'all over here and set you in the floor beside me, okay? Because I want y'all to be able to see everything I'm doing. All right, y'all sit right there. Think y'all can see good. All right, we're going to plug this in right here on the side. It's not sitting just level for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's not. And then our presser foot, we'll plug it in. Right here, she's got a little plug right there. There we go. Drop that down there on the floor where it belongs. And we'll plug it in. All right, there we go. First off, we're going to turn the machine on. All right, come on. It's got a light right here. Presser foot comes up and down right there, easy. This comes off so you can get to your bobbin right here. Y'all be able to see this. Bring you down. Right here's your bobbin. Okay? Front load bobbin. Pull that out. Drop your bobbin out of that. Okay? And you want to hold this where this is to the left. And you want your thread to be coming off that direction. Okay? To the left. Bring it up here. Bring it through that little slot right there. Around here. And it comes out right there. Okay? Now then, this is the way it goes into your machine. This right here that points up, this points up, this points to the left. Okay? And it just snaps right back on that spool pin right there. It just snaps. Hear that snap? Just snaps right back on there. Easy peasy. No problems. No worries. We're good with that. We know how to do that. All right. Your spool pins, which are kind of odd, are right here. And you've got two of them. And they just raise up. Can y'all see that? They're right back there. They go down. Can y'all see them? And then they come up right like this. That's fine. I do not have a problem with that at all. And this was where I ran into some difficulties. All right. I do not know why this was not sitting level. It's like it's out of. I don't know. Oh well, it is what it is. All right, to thread a machine, and any machine, you bring it, and this right here is for your, and I'm going to double check this because I believe this is just for your bobbin winder, okay? Right here is your bobbin winder over here. I'm going to set y'all up, move you back just a little bit so you can kind of see. It has this nice little LED screen here. Now, to me, I don't really understand why we need a screen to tell us how fast we're going and whether our needle's in the up or down position. But we do. So we're going to take our thread under there, bring it right down through here, bring it up through here. And do you see how tight this is to come back up into this? It's like this machine, it's like I cannot get that to go back through there. Bring it up, bring it through there, and now you got to bring it back down through here. And y'all, that is tight right there. It's like the machine has been damaged in shipping or something. I mean, it's just, I don't understand it. All right, now then, we've got a needle threader. And it goes, it's supposed to go right back through there. At least I did it today. Yesterday, I could not get it to go back through there. All right, raise that up. Bring that up underneath there. Push this down and bring it forward. Slide that in there and let it thread it. Okay, needle threader's okay for that type of a needle threader. I'm not a fan of them. I had one machine that had one of those one time, and I never got it to work right. And it was brand new, and it was an expensive machine. So nothing against the needle threader. It does work. Not a fan of it. But then there's a lot of machines that have that needle threader. Okay, got to pull your bobbin thread up. Take that down. Bring it right up. No problem. Okay, not a problem. There we go. And we should be ready to sew. Should we not? Pull that up there like that, and let's put our little piece of our thing there back on there. Okay, now then, we're ready to sew. Here's your stitches. Right here are your stitches. A, B, C, B, and A and B are straight stitches. Okay, it's just a matter of your needle position, whether it's in the center or over to the left. There's nothing different in A and B. C is your zigzag. D is a zigzag. E looks like a heartbeat going to the left. F, here they are. I'll just show them to you right here. Here's all your stitches right there. See that? That's all your stitches. Here's your reverse button. Easy enough, simple. Now this is where I don't understand. I want you to listen to this. Well, now one thing, I do not know why it will not set level, but it's not sitting level. All right, here we go.
Down needle position.
So we're talking. It talks to you.
Up needle position. Turn off the working light. Working light intensity. Working light intensity.
And if you can see, the light gets brighter.
Light intensity.
So you have 3 levels to your light. Never had a machine that had but one because we always want more light.
Slow down.
This is your stitch speed.
Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Speed up. Speed up. Speed up. Speed up.
Okay, so you've got a rabbit, a turtle, a light bulb, and an up and down. I don't know why we need that to talk to us to tell us that, but they think we do. And I'm really bothered by the fact that it doesn't want to sit level. It's like something is missing, like right there, maybe. Yes. So here is the little foot thing that come off. So we'll put that back on there. Now maybe it'll sit level again. Okay, yes, now it's a little more sturdy. So that's kind of a, shouldn't have come off, but you know, it did. No biggie. All right, now then, got a piece of fabric right here. Let me get a new piece. Brand new piece. Brand new piece of fabric. Green thread on the top, black on the bottom. It did come with some pre-wound bobbins, if you want to call that a plus. All right, stitch number 8. This is a straight stitch. I want you to listen to this machine as it stitches. It makes a thumping noise that I do not feel like that it should be making. I've never had a machine to make that kind of a noise. Okay? And your stitch length is odd in the fact that it's sitting on a 2 and it makes real tiny stitches. I think if you just want a nice straight stitch, you're going to have to make it more of a 3 or a 4. The reverse does work fine. Okay, so this is where I got yesterday. Makes a fine straight stitch, no worries. All right, now then, I got to this point right here yesterday. I started a zigzag stitch. I turned it on a zigzag stitch, okay? And there's no way, I guess, you make your stitch length more narrow here or wider. And I've got it set fairly wide because I'm assuming that this little dial right here shows you that it's supposed to be narrow up to the width of it. And because it does kind of like a little click in there. And here are your, I'm assuming, your stitch length or width, you know, your length. You want them closer together or wider apart. So we're going to set it on about a 2.5 because I really know nothing about this machine to even be able to tell. All right, now then, let's try this. Okay, that did a little bit better. Yesterday, it didn't stitch at all. It got caught. Everything was caught in there. Everything, and this little woman started screaming at me, and I did not understand what she was saying. Because I'm not Chinese or Japanese or whatever it was. She was telling me that something was caught, and I could tell something was caught because the whole needle and everything was in there. A thread, needle, everything. So I want to make that a very wide stitch. This is as wide as it will go, I'm assuming. I'm not a fan of the way it's thudding, but all in all, it's doing better than it did. The fact that it's very difficult here to get your thread in here, I feel like that it's not a very well made machine. All right, let's try stitch number D. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I'm assuming that this probably tells you in here. Maybe there's a chart. Let's see. Here's error code, no needle found. Error 3, motor or phase error. Lock rotator protection. For error 4, that's what I got yesterday, an error 4 code. And she talks, she tells you that that's what's wrong. I'm looking to see if it tells me anywhere in here about settings for your different stitches. Decorative stitch, machine setting, utility stitches, straight stitch, that should be on a 4. That foot, okay, the zigzag, it shows you this should be on a 0 to a 4, a 0.5. I'm assuming that's a 0.5 to a 4, and this should be on a 3 for a zigzag stitch. So let's see if this makes a satin stitch. No, dang, there's no thread in the needle. This is the part that I absolutely hate, you all, because this right here, you cannot get this up through here, and this looks like it's crooked. You see that? That should just go flump, flump, flump. You should never have to really pull on that or push on that or anything. That should just slide through there. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so that is making it more closer together, more as a satin stitch. And that's a 2. And this is a 3. And this is a 4. And I guess that's okay stitching. I mean, it's doing okay. So let's try this D stitch. And let's see if it tells us where to put that. Is that an overlock stitch? No. That's called a tricot stitch. And it's basically your stitched out zigzag. So let's just leave it set where we had it on the zigzag. And it's a very noisy machine. It should not be going plack, 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 plack every time it makes a stitch. And I do not know why it's doing that. Like I said, you saw me take it out of the box. I took it out yesterday. It is doing better today than it did do yesterday. Maybe it just had to sit. But there's that stitch. And E, It tells you, does it tell me where to put that stitch? This is an overlock stitch, over edge stitch, and you're supposed to turn this to SS, to this right here. And this is supposed to be on a 3. All right.
Slow down.
Now it's telling me there's an error of 5, which means I don't know what it means. Well, I'm assuming that's okay. I don't understand what this SS stands for, plus or minus. I don't know what the SS is supposed to stand for. What's stitch number F? Let's see if we can find the settings for that one. Y'all, they're not in order of said E5 is hardware over current protection, motor overloaded. It should not have done that. I really do not know about this F stitch. I'm trying to find it here in the book, so it would tell me what the settings should be. E or F. It just told me to put E on this other. But now it's got another settings up here. I don't understand it, you all. Now then, let's see. Still got an error code. If I can clear it by turning it off and back on. Like for that to be wider. I guess you can't make it any wider. That's a very narrow little hem stitch. Very narrow hem stitch. What's G? G's going the other direction. Let's see if it tells me. G looks exactly like E, but going the opposite direction. So let's see if it gives us any indication in the book about how to set it for G. H. This is not showing. Do you see this? These are not the same stitches that are showing on the machine. The book that came with the machine right here are not the same stitches that are showing here on the machine. See, look, can y'all see this? right here. A and B are the same. C is different. D is different. E, F, they're not the same. Unless, well, down here they are. So how do you get to that? How do you get to these stitches? Have any idea? Any ideas? Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get to those stitches on the bottom. Okay, well, I think I figured out what you're supposed to do to get these bottom decorative stitches down here. And I'm just going to tell you, this is, excuse my language, it's the damnedest thing I ever saw. I have never in my life seen a machine that was so complicated to use right out of the box. Never. The instructions leave a lot to be desired. It should say in the instruction book to do the decorative stitches that are on the bottom right here. To do these stitches right here, you have to set this to the SS. Nowhere does it tell you that. Absolutely nowhere does it tell you to do that. Okay? I've read this book cover to cover while I was sitting here, and nowhere did it tell me to do that. It says for stretch stitches, and it's got a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 3, and they're right here, and I cannot get, I don't know how to get them to that point. This without breaking the machine completely. They will not turn to 1, 2, they'll turn to the 1, but the 2, the 3, and the 4 right here, the 2, the 4, and the 3, or whatever, it will not turn there without physically breaking this knob off. And I'm not going to do that. So I don't know how to get that done. This stitch, evidently, when you turn it to this SS, is the same as this D zigzag here. Had no idea. But it just tells you stitching stretch patterns, you turn it to this. And I saw this and I thought, we're going to give it a shot. So, trial and error, I figured it out. I'm not even going to fool with stitching any more of this because my review is I would never purchase this machine. I wouldn't. I would not ever purchase it. This is what comes with it. You get your CD over here. If you have a DVD player or still a CD-ROM in your computer, I'm assuming you can put this in there. There's also a thumb drive. I'm assuming, nowhere does it tell me what's on this thumb drive. I'm assuming it's the same thing that's on that CD. But it doesn't tell you what that is. It tells you how to troubleshoot things. Tells you how to clean it. Basically, it doesn't tell you a lot. Kind of gives you a background of the stitches and how to change the presser feet. And the screen functions, even though it really doesn't, the screen really is useless. It doesn't do anything. It just makes it look fancier. That's it. Shows you here how to thread it, and I did exactly that. But like I said, this right here is extremely tight. Right here, your thread should just glide through there. It should not, you should not have to pull on your thread to get it to go through that. But it doesn't tell you anything about the CD, or it doesn't even say. Let's see. Does it tell you what's included? No, it tells you the parts, different things. Over here, it shows you these these things that are down in should be in there, but that's this thing right here. I'm gonna show you what all that is in a minute. So you can thumb through here, can kind of see all about how all this works and so forth. So I guess if you want to risk whatever, you could maybe put that thumb drive in your computer. Who knows? It may have a virus on it. I doubt it, but you never know. It comes with bobbins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 unwound and 4 wound. There's a black one in there that came in the machine. It comes with 3 size 14 sewing machine needles. Comes with a buttonhole foot for whatever it's worth. Looks kind of flimsy. I don't know how you're supposed to get your button in it. That's supposed to. I don't know. I can't figure out how to get the button in it. Does it just sit right in there? I guess you just put a button right there, just sit it there, and hope it doesn't bounce away. I don't know. Let's see if it tells us. And it may not even show a button in the buttonhole thing. I swear I thought I saw something in here about a buttonhole. Here it is. There's a tip. Maybe you don't put a buttonhole in it, you just have to guide it yourself. I do not know. It does not show a button in it. I don't know. I don't know. Here's your little brush and your seam ripper, because Lord knows you're going to need that. A button sewing foot for whatever that's worth. Here is a zipper foot. If you're going to sew in some zippers, it comes with a zipper foot. Comes with this. I really don't know what this is for. It's just a little piece of metal there. Let's see if it tells us. Here's just your plain, clear, see-through foot. And this is how you sew on buttons, or if you want to do any free motion quilting, this just lays down and covers your feed dogs. It's just a cover plate. Let's see what that little piece of metal is, if it tells us in here. It's F. It's just a guide to the presser foot. I guess you put this on some way and it guides like this, possibly. I guess. Yes, maybe like that. So then you have a guide for your fabric and your standard little screw thing to take your machine plate off to clean in and around your bobbin and so forth. So this is my review of this machine. I would not buy it. I would not recommend you buy it. It came from Amazon, and this FYIYUE company, FYIYUE company. No, I don't even feel good about giving this machine to anybody because it doesn't sew well. It's very hard to thread. The thread should not, this, this should not be, this should be gapped right in here, and it is not. You can tell it's very flimsy made. The pieces do not fit together well. There's lots of humps and bumps and things of that nature. They don't tell you what this is. They don't tell you what this is. Here's your warranty, and you would need that, believe me, because it. And here's all of these little pieces, parts and pieces. I'm gonna put them back in this little envelope here. Not a fan. I am not a fan of this machine. They wanted me to do one long video, and I did that. That's this one. They want me to do 2 shorts. Once they see this, they may not want the shorts. I know if it were me, I would not, because I do not recommend this machine to anyone under any circumstances. Buy you a good used machine from a reputable dealer. This machine's around between $100 and $150 price tag, and it's not worth that. Believe me, save a little more money and spend a little more money and buy you a reliable machine. The little brother machines at Walmart, I've never had one, but I understand that they are very good little machines. Little workhorses. I know people on YouTube and TikTok and all buy those little machines and use them for 7, 6, 7, 8 years. And then something breaks and they go buy another one. They're about $300, which is about double what this is. This one, I couldn't sew on it for a day. It would literally drive me insane. So if you are new to sewing and you just want a good beginner intro machine, this is not your baby. This one is very complicated to use. It's not easy to understand. And I managed to figure it out, but the directions are not very clear. So that's my review of this. So if you're thinking of buying one of these, I would not recommend it. So that's going to be all for this review video of this FYIYUE machine. You have my honest opinion because I'm always honest with you all. I do not want to mislead you and tell you to buy something that I would not actually have in my home and use all the time. This I would not. I would not. So I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me and trying out this machine. Now we know. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.